aromatic nerve gas made from tobacco, cracked, refined, and chemically manipulated nicotinic acid.
There are more senior citizens living in downtown Seattle than anywhere else in the Pacific Northwest. Over the years, we have collectively decided that we want them to live there. And yet today, downtown remains one of the most difficult places to live, particularly for the elderly. Housing advocate John Fox says the city's commitment to senior housing looks great on paper, but crumbles out in the real world.
Even though we have had some individual success stories, the number of units we've been able to bring back online are far outweighed by the greater number of housing units that we are still losing to redevelopment in downtown Seattle. The problem is getting worse.
And the worst of all may be the Gatewood Hotel. It's the same building that houses the Liberty Barbershop, the same building police have identified as the most crime-ridden corner in the city. 2 years ago, owner Sam Israel closed the Gatewood, depriving downtown of yet another 90 units of housing. The city of Seattle filed suit under the city's brand new housing preservation laws, but Sam Israel has refused to cooperate.
It's been over a year now since we filed a complaint against Mr. Israel for abandoning this building, and to this day we have not yet gotten to the court decision.
The Gatewood is one of more than 6 Seattle area properties owned by Sam Israel. Many are allowed to stand underused or empty. You might figure Sam Israel to be some pinstriped slumlord who counts his money in a downtown high-rise. If you do, you figure wrong.
And then between the two parks, I own that.
Sam Israel is 87 years old. He never married. From the landing of his 400-acre tract near Soap Lake in eastern Washington, Israel can see thousands of acres of land that belong to him. This is the kind of place he thinks seniors in downtown Seattle should be living.
Already, that's what they should do when they retire, to look out in the countryside, beautiful places where they can live, more economically. And over here, they're protected.
This is the kind of place they should come live?
Yeah, either this or any place in the country, other small towns, not necessarily here. No, I'm not promoting Soap Lake. Hello, Princess.
Israel admits that he hasn't been to Seattle in a decade. He had no idea until we told him of the crime problem around the Gatewood. But he vows not to reopen the Gatewood to low-income seniors who live on Social Security or public assistance. It is those people, he says, who contribute to the deterioration of downtown. He wants the Gatewood to become a legitimate hotel for low-income working people who take business trips to Seattle.
Those fellows, they have to be there. Let them be there. And then when they retire, just like you, put a horse in a pasture. Now, I'm in a pasture, I belong here. I don't want to go anyplace else. And look at the shoes.
Sam Israel emigrated from Europe when he was 19 years old. He started as a shoemaker and later built his fortune by buying undervalued property. He says he needs all his land for protection from the persecution that Jews have historically suffered since before the days of Moses.
Myself, I try to do the best I know how, but still maybe it's not good enough. So that's the obligation that we have for being a chosen people. That's not a glory or something to be proud of or a feather in our hats. It's liability, responsibility that have to live.
Israel does not expect his properties to be in miserable shape forever. He says he is holding them until they reach their commercial potential, something he says the city is trying to take away from him.
And actually, the city, what they want, the Gatewood Hotel, is to turn it out into a flop house.
When Israel dies, all his property will go to a charitable foundation to be run by 10 prominent Seattle businessmen. They will be instructed not to sell any of his holdings. They are to use the income from their rental to benefit people in need around the world. Ironically, that may or may not include seniors in downtown Seattle.
I try to do the best I can to protect the interests of my properties, the interests of the neighbors, the district, and the city of Seattle. And I'm not out to benefit myself a few dollars at the expense of the neighbors and the property owners of the vicinity in the city of Seattle. I don't need the money.
Sit there and take it. Go Sally. Go Sally. Thank you.
The next generation of low-income downtown seniors are the unemployed loggers, fishermen, and laborers now pouring onto Seattle's streets. Saving senior services will cost money, plenty of money. So perhaps the most relevant question of all is whether Seattle alone should bear the financial burden when almost all the new downtown poor come from other cities and other states.
And that's why it's such a crime, such a god-awful crime, that the federal government has backed away from its housing responsibility, leaving it to the people of Seattle only to deal with this national problem.
I definitely like downtown. I like to go window shopping. I like to see my fellow people out here in the parks and stuff like that, and I can't do it elsewhere.
The alienation grows out of the loss of those attributes of a community when people are forced onto the street and are ill-housed and don't have and deprived of jobs and access to services. That's when they become alienated.
Aging is something that we all do. It's not somebody else's problem. It's our future together.
I tell you it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. You better get ready and have this in mind. Say, got your note, show them the rainbow sign. He said it won't be water, but fine next time. They no receipt. I'm sorry, my friend. God got the key, and you can't get in. If something don't happen to the heart of man, that same old thing is gonna happen again.